So good afternoon. Are you able to see my slide?
Good afternoon, sir. It's visible.
You are able to see?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. In the last class, we were just, I will quickly give a summary of last class. We were talking about some Hebbian rule and Hebbian architecture, right? A simple neuron or a design of a neuron with some architecture, Hebnet architecture, right? Where Hebbian rule is used. So it is a first algorithm where some training algorithm is defined. So training algorithm is an algorithm which tries to update weight in the network. Thereby, it will try to learn, right, for the inputs. The inputs can be, in our examples, are generally all the binary combinations, right? We were talking about is nothing but can be a vector, feature vector in reality. But here we are talking about some gate operations. In the earlier examples, we were just talking about certain gate operation will have some binary inputs. Not essentially to be always the function node should be a gate. Okay, it is just an example taken here where the processing node in a given case taken may be AND or as an example, but it can be even any other processing node. You can try to explain. That is what we took an example in the later stage, considering two letters, I and O, right? Two characters we took, and we trained any character like this you can take, but I may not be possible in this style. You may have to think that it is a simple I and simple L. And suppose you try to configure it suitably as a matrix, or say if you fill all, it will be some unknown character, maybe, right? If you fill suitably which box you want, based on that you can represent certain character. That's what I was talking. If you want to have I, you can think something like this. This is representing I now. Or if you fill like this, it looks like L, right? So a character with the matrix representation, if you consider how you can train, that is what we were discussing in the last class. Even a simple character or two character problem, how you can try to make use of, like how you can go with the training of a neuron when the characters are, say, I and L, for example. Try to write what is I in feature vector. Like I is nothing but, say, if you start from here, the first box, second box, third box as a row wise, second row, third row. There are three rows. Respectively, you take, say, maybe x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, so on. So your vector could be something like I could be represented as, wherever it is filled, you fill it as 1, otherwise 0. So it is nothing but 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, right? So two type of vector, say I and L, may be fed as input here, and you may update the weight. That is what we were discussing. How you can train a neural network with even other data, not essential to be only the gate function. It can act as a node, and these network links, you will be updating the weight, thereby you'll be trying to store the pattern, maybe I and L in a given example. In the form of weight, you'll be trying to store. That is called training process. You use training algorithm. Use all the input vector, maybe I and L vector here, and update the weight and stop training. That is what the algorithm defined by Hebb tell you to train using certain rule. What is that rule used? Hebbian rule. Each time Wi new is estimated, taking initial value of Wi may be 0. That is considered as old value. And every time you can update the weight, finding delta Wi, where delta Wi is nothing but multiplication of xiy, right? So this is how you try to do weight modification in each iteration. So it is a kind of set of training vectors you'll be using. I and L can be considered as training vectors. With that, you'll be updating the weights in the network, right? That's what you are trying to do in generally with the Hebbian approach. Any clarification regarding Hebbian learning? Today we'll focus on our discussion on another algorithm, that is perceptron based. That is a modified version of Hebbian rule, right? And it is referred as perceptron net. Perceptron, there we'll be trying to look for a single layered and even multiple layered. Okay. So the single layered will be a very simple architecture. Whereas in multiple layer, you will have input, output as well as hidden layer. Okay, you find multiple layers. First, let us take single layer perceptron and let's take a look into its training algorithm and then how to test it. Right? In every model, first you need to understand how to train so that the network will learn about inputs during this process, right? And then you will be going to test its performance, whether it is capable of doing classification or recognition, or whether it can recall the stored pattern. This is a thing you will be verifying that. Recalling capability of a net. You'll be checking by giving a random data. So what is training procedure where you give known? In case of a perceptron, it is said to be a supervised model. They will have a test data set and training data set. Training data set is used for generally train the model, first step. And test data set, maybe some random data set you can use for testing. So always training is expected initially, right? But how you do with the supervised model? In generally, supervised model where you'll be having all the data set which are labeled. With those labeled data set, you will be training first. So during training process, network will be learning. Network is said to be learning. Okay. So let us see that what is the type of algorithm which is used for training. Are you able to see my slide?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It is a supervised learning procedure. I think initially we discussed what is the difference between supervised and unsupervised. So here some labeled data set is used for training. Okay. Along with the target.
Sir?
Yeah.
Can you please put it on presentation mode? It's a little small. Read.
I have kept in full screen now. Is it not visible?
Wait, okay, now it is. It was, I think there was a lag on my screen.
Is it possible to see now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, supervised learning procedure is adapted in these perceptron models. Generally, it will have some simple architecture. When you consider a single perceptron, right? It will have some input layer and an output layer. So input layer shown with the multiple nodes, say x1 to xn, having n number of nodes. They are going to accept some input vector x, which are having elements such as x1, x2, etc. n elements. A feature vector may be fed or some input is fed with n elements. So these elements are accepted by the input layer. This is said to be input layer. So input layer will be at the receiver end will have okay, it will go and receive the inputs which are fed here, right? And it will even transmit that to the next layer, or it will just forward that to the next layer. See what happens here is in the input layer, the nodes are set with some activation function, or which will be having activation function which will be generally linear in nature. So what happens is this x1 will be directly set to be provided as input here when it is linear, right? You will not find much importance of that activation function there. OK, you have an input layer through which you will be receiving the input. So your processing node shown here at the output layer is y, is going to receive all the inputs which are weighted. So you'll be receiving all x1, x2, etc. along with the w1, w2 passing through weighted input, right? So it is nothing but weighted input is received at y. So y is going to receive say x1, w1 or x2, w2, so on. So when it is arriving at y, it is weighted input. That is what you observe here. Even there is a bias in this architecture also bias input is used. It may be referred sometime as x0, but always set to 1. Okay, its value is always 1. So its weight is referred as b here. So this is the architecture of a simple single perceptron. What is the difference between Hebb and this architecture when you compare is one major difference is here you can use either input of binary or bipolar, anyone. But there it is recommended to use only bipolar. Hebbian rule, bipolar is preferred. Otherwise, in some network, you may not get an output. OK, but here either of two you can use it. OK, either binary or bipolar. And they have even introduced one more parameter here, or you can say one more rate. They called it as learning rate. They indicated with alpha. Learning rate is a new measure that is introduced here in this algorithm. So that by they have updated the algorithm. So it is a value which they have set between 0 to 1. So which will change in the speed at which it is going to learn. OK, so we'll discuss some more detail when we are discussing multi-layered architecture. So this alpha value will be generally taken between 0 to 1. You can set it as any value between that. Higher the alpha value, the learning will happen fast. Lesser, it will take a lot of iteration to learn. That is what they observed. Anyway, it is a rate here set in this algorithm. OK, so let us look into what is this algorithm, training algorithm, and how we can do testing here. Like in earlier models, what we were discussing, no? Initially, we have to go with the training procedure. Then we have to do the testing. In order to do training, now we have to go through training algorithm. So we already see the architecture here, simple single neuron architecture, which has n input and shown here one node as y, and the output is said to be y here. In this case, even there is one more variable taken, that is t, that is a target. And we understand that at the output layer side, you'll be trying to make use of this target, and you'll be checking whether y is equal to t here, okay, whether there is any error. That is what you are going to check at the output layer side. If there is any error, then you may have to update weight here. Okay, this may be requirement. If there is a set of input you use for training, and if you find every time the weight is updated, say W is changed, that time if you find that output Y is generated and there is a target also, for each input there will be target which is referred as T. T is nothing but target value. Y is nothing but response for the given input. Okay. Now it may happen that this Y may be equal to T after applying many number of inputs here, or after applying different training data here at input, you find there will be certain weight which is set here for which your Y may be equal to T. So if it happens, you can stop your training. Otherwise, you may have to continue your training. So it's a kind of algorithm where you start with some initial value, then you update the weight iteratively. And once you get Y is equal to T condition, you can stop. Okay. So what is this algorithm? We'll see in detail. So initially you may have to set some values for these W1, W2, etc. That will be set to 0. And alpha, they suggested to recommended to take between 0 to 1. Don't take 0. Above 0, 0 to 1, any value. So it should be greater than 0, lesser or equal to 1. So it can be set to any value, but for simplicity, they have taken in the given example as 1. Okay. Maximum value they have set. You can even take any fraction here. Anyway, it is a general algorithm. You can just write this. This is also not very much critical there in the general algorithm. Anyway, if you start with initial step, initialization, next they say that perform step 2 to 6. Step 2 to 6 you have to perform. So what is that? The 6 is some stopping condition they are defining. Okay, till that what you need to do, that is what they are defining in different steps. In the next step, we have to perform steps 3 to 5 for each training pair which is considered. See, in this algorithm also, like Hebbian, we are taking pair of inputs. The given input, suppose if you take is S1 or S2, along with this its target, what is expected output, that is called target. Okay. In this case, every S you'll be assigning to Xi and you'll be proceeding. Or you may have to repeatedly applying all the input one by one, right? At the input layer initially. You start with considering first and then second, so on. If there are 4 sets, you apply all the 4 sets one by one. That is what it means. Okay. So once you apply, then what else you have to do it? That is what's given in the next step. Say suppose you are applying vector here. Okay. Once you apply your input here, so what you have to do is you have to find out the net input here. So you have already initialized the weight value, which is 0. And now you are applying the first training input. And for that you are finding here summation value, which is nothing but net input. How to find net input here? That is described here. Yn is equal to b plus I is equal to 1 to n xi wi. The standard formula which we had earlier, the same thing. There is no change. Even Hebbian or any other neural network, it is similar. So what is next step? If you want to find out the response at the output now, the second portion you will be using function here, right? So y is the output or response of the neuron here. Y is the response. You can find as a function of net input. So which can be defined as an output response of value 1 if net input is greater than theta. Can be 0 if the net input is between plus or minus theta, like this. It can take different value as -1, right? When net input is lesser than minus theta. That is how you can find the response at the node. But what is weight adjustment rule here? Which is similar to Hebbian rule. There is no much difference. Say weight and bias can be updated in each iteration. If y is not equal to t, you can do that. When you check condition, here condition is this. This is called stopping condition. Okay. Say the iteration or training procedure you'll be stopping when y is equal to t. If y is not equal to t, you have to do this operation of changing the w or b, or you are updating weights. When y is not equal to t, you update the weights. So how you are updating? The rule is very similar to that earlier one, but there is one extra thing you can see here. Wi new is equal to Wi old plus alpha t xi. So now you can see there is one extra added thing. Alpha is added, learning rate is added here. Okay, this algorithm is introduced with the new variable alpha, learning rate. B new is defined as B old plus alpha t. If you remember the Hebbian, which was Wi new is equal to Wi old plus delta Wi is nothing but they were explaining there it is xi y. But here the delta Wi, this is nothing but a fraction of delta. You are adding to the initial value or old value, which is seen that having now alpha along with the t. T is nothing but desired one. Desired response is t. Target expected to be for the given input. What is expected response? That is t. Okay. What is actual response? That is y. You got the difference? Y and t. For a given input, whatever is generated here, that is nothing but actual response. That is y. But desired response, that is t. Okay. When you are updating weight and when you will be going in iteration like this, many times you will be applying your input, different inputs. W will be changing, but at one condition, because of change in the W, if y is equal to t, condition appears, then what it means, can you tell me? When y is equal to t, condition meets. What do you understand from that?
So that we have to retain the weights then.
Yeah, you have to stop training. In that condition, what happens is you will be generating a response. That response, actual response generated from the network, is equal to the desired one, desired response. There is no error. There is no error. What is expected is also that you're able to get what is desired from the network in that case. But it may not be true always. Y is equal to t condition may not even appear sometime. So in that condition, sometime they will keep some error condition as another loop. If error is less than 0.001, you stop it. Something like another condition also may be included sometime. Okay, because in some problem y is equal to t condition may not appear even though you train many times. So train the network until no weight change or y is equal to t condition comes. Here step 6 they have written that they are checking weight change, okay, as a testing condition. Either you can check this or this, both are possible. Okay, both are same, one and the same. If there is no weight change, then like earlier condition to the next, what happens is they train the network until there is no error, like y is equal to t condition appears. Okay, so that is what the major changes you find. It looks very similar to, but there are major changes, especially by introducing alpha and the condition for stopping. Okay, says that you can stop after a certain iteration. So when you get y is equal to t condition of there is no change in the weight. Even there can be some perceptron which has multiple nodes at output, or even multi-layered perceptron also possible. So here we are talking about only simple architecture. There is the input layer, there is output layer. Input layer has n number of nodes, whereas output layer has only single node here in my example. But even it may happen in some case, even perceptron can have multiple output nodes. But even simple architecture, single layered architecture. Or even sometimes we can even have multi-layered architectures. Input layer, output layer, and hidden layer also can be there. We'll see how to address those kind of network later. Okay, but basically the perceptron, the term which has come because it is going to accept some data from a sensory unit. Say maybe if there is some image or some character you want to read or some pattern, right? That will be arriving as some series of x1, x2, right? Through the input layer, which is also referred sometimes as associator unit, which is going to associate with the sensory unit and receives the input. That will deliver the input to the response unit. This is where the actual processing takes place at response unit, where the response unit will accept all the inputs from input layer at each node, maybe y1, y2, so on, up to m number of nodes if there is. The response unit will accept the input from the input layer, right, or associator unit, and it can generate responses y1, y2, so on. These output responses are actual responses will be compared with the desired output. T is called desired. If there are output layer having multiple like m number of nodes, then target will also have m number of elements. Output response also will have, y also will have multiple elements, y1, y2, so on. T also defined as a vector, t1, t2, so on. Tm. M is taken for the output layer here. So in this condition, you will find in each output node, there will be a target element like T1, T2, variable T1, T2. So you are generating is an error. Difference between Y1 and T1 is considered as an error, right? Maybe E1. Similarly here E2. So En. So you will be generating an error vector if there are multiple nodes here. In this case, there is a single node. So you'll be generating only E. Okay. If that error comes to very small, or if that error is 0, then you can stop training. That is what it means. When you generate a response and if it is compared with the target, if it is equal means the error is 0, right? That means you reached your requirement. So when you are generating an output response which is equal to desired output, that means that there is a condition you met where you'll be trying to generate a response to an input such a way that what is desired, right? So in that case, you can stop training. That is what they have understood. So they have designed the algorithm such a way that it helps you to train towards your desired output, right? It's a very popular architecture and algorithm, right? So let us take how this could be implemented. Anyway, this is a flow chart. You can go through it. Whatever I discussed is written in the flow diagram. It is one and the same. You can go through it. I will not discuss about. I'll directly go to an example now. We will take an example of AND gate function. How to realize AND function using perceptron. It's mentioned that in this given problem, bipolar inputs are taken, and also the target also taken bipolar, but not essentially to be here, right? It can be even binary sometime. Okay. When you are given the input for the AND function, this is what you are expected to have as a target, right? In the third column, we wrote target. Whenever x1, x2 is such as two input AND gate function, right? Whenever x1, x2 high, output is high. Since it is bipolar, 0 is replaced by -1. So you need to follow this algorithm now. So initially you may have to set all the weights and then alpha. Then you have to take one by one input vectors and you have to train. So let us just proceed with that. In the table form, why can't you make a table? One table you can create. The table can have inputs. Some columns you start making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 columns you can make. I believe you have paper, pencil, or whatever pen, right? Make some columns. Because it's better if you try when I am explaining so that it will be convenient for you. So that you can easily understand what's happening. Don't copy this table now, just only make some columns. Just columns you prepare. And then you write the first column label as x1. You write three columns, first three columns as x1, x2, and this is the bias input. So these are the inputs considered to be the inputs. So in this example, an AND gate is considered for design with the 2 inputs. And the third one is the bias. Output is expected to be Y. Okay, this is the consideration of neuron here. Okay. So you are able to see this table, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you can make some columns, 12 columns. In that first 3 column, top, you can mention it as inputs like x1, x2, and bias. Bias input is 1. That is what I took here. And next column is labeled as target. Take it as T. And next column you mark it as net input. And the next column labeled as Y. That is the response or calculated output, or the response, actual response or calculated output. Then you have weight changes. Since there are 2 inputs such as x1, x2, corresponding weight changes are delta W1, delta W2, and bias weight change is taken as delta B. So the values of W1, W2, and B can be written here. Okay, so these are the columns you have to mark. Initial weights are 0, 0, 0. That is what's shown here. The weights are initially 0. Now let us take the first set of input with the bias from the table. You'll be taking the first set and you train. X1 has 1, X1, X2, and bias. Now taking this, along with the target. Target is T is equal to 1. Here you are taking target as 1. So what is the net input? You have to calculate. You have initial weight, which is already taken as 0, which is initialized here. With this W1, W2, B, what is the net input? Based on that net input, what is Y? All these 2 values you can calculate. What is net input here? X1, W1 plus X2, W2 plus bias, right? B. 1 into B. So what is this value? Y in. Since W1 is 0, W2 is 0, B is 0, you can expect net input is 0. Correct? It is 0. You have a rule to find Y. Y can be function of net input, where output can be 1 or 0 or -1 by taking certain threshold, theta. But here theta is taken 0, okay? So your output Y you can define as 0. The net input is 0. Y is equal to 0. Got it? So you find the response, calculate output y, nothing but response. Yeah, you're getting this, how to find y? Any clarification here? Net input and output response. Once you calculate these two, you can find the next new weight or fraction of weight to be added. Because as you go on with your algorithm, I'm just passing through my algorithm steps. I just find net input, I just find response. Next, I have to check whether there is a condition met, y is equal to t. If not, I have to update the weight. Anyway, it is the first set, y may not be equal to t. So yes, you may have to do updating the weight, right? Still, you can verify that whether y is equal to t here. Y is this, t is this. Whether y is equal to t is met?
No, sir.
No. No, you can go ahead with updating the weight. So find delta W1, which is nothing but x1y. Oh, sorry, it is here alpha t x1. Delta, this is alpha t x2. This is alpha t, right? From the definition here. This is delta W I. This is delta B. Correct? Alpha t is delta B. Alpha t xi is delta W or weight change. So this is what you have to calculate, alpha t x1. So alpha is here. Alpha is 1, you know that we have set already. T is here. Alpha t x1. It is 1, right? When you consider these three, you can write this as 1. Similarly, now you consider alpha t x2. That is also 1. Now alpha t x2 t and alpha. When you take those three together, alpha t x2 value is 1. Similarly, you may have to find alpha t, correct, which is also 1. Now you can find W1 new. Say we have in the last step to update the weight Wi new. Wi new is equal to Wi old plus xiy or delta Wi, right? It's nothing but W1 is equal to W1 new means first x1 link weight is nothing but W1 old plus delta x W1. So delta Wi, okay, W2 new is equal to W2 old plus delta W2. So these two you can use for updating weight W1 and W2 here. So what is W1 old? Can you tell me during the first training data which I am trying to use here, right? First row with which I am calculating now. What is W1 old for the first row of calculation, which is nothing but the initial value, right? So W1 old is 0, but delta W1 is 1. So you'll be adding these two, right? 0 plus 1 That is where you are getting here 1. W1 volt and W1 delta W1 will give you W1 new. So now you'll be updating the weight by adding this fraction of W1 with the W1, initial W1, and you'll be getting new value of W1. Similarly, new value of W2 is calculated here. New value of V also can be calculated. So by going through the algorithm, when you apply the first input with the initial data, initial weight values, when you pass to the algorithm, what is happening is shown in the row. So at the end of the first iteration, you'll be getting these updated weights. My initial value 0, 0 is updated now to 1. But I may have to do this till I get y is equal to t condition. That is the requirement here for the algorithm. So that you can next go to the next vector. What you have totally 4 inputs in this kind of particular 2 input AND gate. 4 combinations are there, right? So 4 training data set you have. So you can try with all other training data set by applying whether y is equal to t condition comes. When you apply the second data set, say 1, minus 1, 1, allow with the target as minus 1. The net input is this. The response is this. Why the net input is 1 now? Can you verify and tell me? Now when you are trying to apply the second input here, you will be using the weight which is updated. Okay, don't use 0, 0, 0. This is only for the first step. Then your weight is updated. Now this is the current weight you have to consider. Considering this as weight and this as input, you'll be doing the next task. Earlier step weight, final weight, and this as input, second input. You'll be going with finding what is the net input, what is the response. I'm just trying to follow my algorithm, that's all. I'm not changing anything. So for this given input, this is the target. And if you use net input equation, yin is equal to x1 w1 plus x2 w2 plus b is equal to 0, where now the value of earlier w1 w2 b, whatever the earlier state, it is now 1, 1 and 1. x1 x2 are respectively 1, but x2 is minus 1, right? This is what the inputs. 1 and minus 1 is the bias input, also 1. So if you find net input is now 2, net input is said to be, sorry, 1, net input 1 minus 1 plus 1, it is 1. So using activation function, you can find out what is output. Since net input is greater than 0, your y is equal to 1. So you can change y is equal to 1. The response here is 1. Actual response of the neuron is 1. Whereas if you compare it with the desired one, which is minus 1, it is not matching. Y is equal to not t. Y is not equal to t. That is true. Y is not equal to t. Right? So what you have to do, you have to update the weight. So find delta W1, delta W2, delta B, and using that you calculate what is W1, W2, B. Can you try till here and check and tell me, are you able to do it or not? If any doubt, you can ask. Are you getting a weight 0, 2, 0 by applying this input? Tell me. If anyone has doubt in getting that, any clarifications, please. People are trying that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Are you getting 0, 2, 0 as W1, W2B?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So you understood how to calculate that updated weight, right? So now for second input I have shown. Similarly for third input and fourth input it need to be done. When you do with the third input, the target is this, response is this. Once again they are not equal. You need to update the weight. And once again you go with the fourth set of input. That time when you calculate once again the target is this -1, output is -1, right? If it is the case you can stop. If they are equal you can stop. Okay. You can just stop with the weight. Otherwise you may have to so on repeat it. Now shown here epoch 1. Suppose say that you are not able to meet y is equal to 1 after training with all these 4 patterns. Then you may have to redo the same process, maybe applying that once again. Maybe with the different combination, maybe sometime. Maybe you can start with 1 minus 1 first, -1 later, so on. But randomize the set and you can even do it until you get y is equal to t condition. Okay, that is what this algorithm suggests. So you can find here 4 set of possible inputs, that is called one epoch. That once again you can apply those same data set. Once again you can apply and redo training if necessary. Then that is called epoch 2. Okay, like that multiple epoch you may be required to train so that you will get y is equal to t condition at least in one particular stage after updating the weight, where y is equal to t condition may appear. Or if it is not at all appearing after 100 or 200 iterations, even what you can do is you can check experimentally what is the error in which you will be landing, and you can keep a error criteria there. Based on certain error, you can stop it. Otherwise, it will go to infinite loop. Okay, that thing has to be taken care in this algorithm. Sometimes stopping condition may not arise because y is equal to t condition may not appear because of certain input condition, right? In that case, based on error, with certain minimum error, deciding that you can experimentally put a threshold and you can stop. This is how this kind of network will work. Any question? I'll just keep 1 second here, algorithm. You can just go through that, and if you find any mismatching with the steps and discussion, you can come back with some questions. Just go through it once again quickly, the algorithm, and summarize the steps we adapted while solving. And if you find any small clarifications or anything, you can ask. And I'm very much aware of that you may not be able to complete all these tables quickly. It needs some time that you can try later. So at the end of the training, you will get some weights, right? That will be seen. See, so when you stop here, you can even freeze your weight. Okay. Because after that it does not change. That is what you can observe here. Even though you train repeatedly later, when it is y is equal to t condition, so you find even the weights are not updated. The weights are freezed here, right? Here onwards. So it indicates that there is no change in the weight. So stop. Stop doing it. Stop training.
So,
Yeah.
if there is no change in weight, why are we doing epoch 2?
Epoch 2 is not required. It is just to show here that there is no change they have just done in the example. You can stop it here when it is equal. Stop. Or when you look calculating these two, either stopping condition based on this you can do it, or calculating these two, right? There is no change in the weight. Right? Stop. Sixth step of algorithm says check the weight. The weights are same. No change. Stop the algorithm or training procedure. Here it is an example, just an example to show that even though if you train afterwards, what happens? Once again, putting the same input. It may not introduce sometime any modification, right? It's already trained. That's what it is trying to show here. Okay. It is not required. You don't need to do this. Okay. But in some problem, it may be required. So if you don't get here at the end 1 minus 1, then what you have to do is you just reorganize the. Maybe you can change it, or sometimes even with the same order also people will try. It's better to do some randomization of set and redo the same training procedure. That is called epoch 2. Same data set is used. There is no change, but it may be written in some change in order sometime. Randomization could be done. Okay, in epoch 2. It is left to the designer. The same thing is explained in the flowchart because I think everyone knows how to write a flowchart. What we wrote, it is some simple step explanation in the diagrammatic approach. Initialize weights and bias, set alpha between 0 to 1. And there is a condition block because you are saying that for each S colon T, each pair of vector like S colon T, do the assignment of Si to Xi and calculate net input. Find response using activation function. And then do once again a check if y is not equal to, you can see here y not equal to t. If yes, update the weight. If no, wi new is equal to wi old. What do you mean by that? This is nothing but wi. It may not be very clear to you. Wi new is equal to wi old. It means that no change. Don't change it. If y is not equal to t, if y is not equal to t, it means that you have to update the weight using the rule wi new is equal to wi old plus delta wi. And bias weight also you update. But if no change of the weight, okay? So then stop. Then you can stop. Okay, if there is a change in the weight, if weight changes, yes, you have to repeat. You have to go here. Whether there is any input further pending for training, that you have to check. If there is a pending vector, you just feed that along with the target and try to do the training. If there is no input pending, right? And if there is no weight change and no input pending, you can stop. That's what it is trying to say. The flow diagram is trying to give you the whole same algorithm in another way, diagrammatically. That's all. Any clarification in this step? It will be easy to write as a table, or even you can do like this, step by step algorithm you can follow, and you can show the steps like this. Anyway, even though you are doing a table, you just write at least one step. For the initial step, at least show some step. What is the equation used? What is the equation used for finding the response? What is the way how you calculate new value of W or bias weight? So these equations you have to show and apply at least once, okay? It may be required to highlight what are the relationship between these variables. Don't apply table. Only this will not give you complete mark. Got it? I think I have mentioned it that wherever it is required, the supporting equations need to be explained. Okay. Then table form is fine. You don't need to linearly do like this. It will take a lot of time, right? One step you can just show and write the equations properly and say that it is shown in the table, right? Is it clear? So suppose in a given problem, you are not ending with the y is equal to t condition after repeating with the two epochs. Then you please stop in the examination. You don't need to go for multiple epochs. OK. In some problems, suppose say that you got a problem where it is not ending. You don't need to go with the 4-5 epochs. OK, just stop after 2 epochs. Is it fine? Generally, when we understand, we will not give like that, or we will specify sometime. Do one epoch or something we'll specify. OK. Yeah. Any questions? Anyone? Any questions here? Any questions? Somebody was asking something in between. Yanchin, you are asking something?
Yes, sir, I understood that.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay, if it is fine, we will go with the multi-layered perceptron. In that case, one of the example we call architecture named as backpropagation neural network. Okay. So what kind of architecture is shown here? Can you tell me, any one of you? What is the architecture shown on the PPT? There are different architecture we are talking initially. Single layer architecture, multi-layered architecture.
So this is multi-layered with feedback.
Okay, it is multi-layered, that is true. But even the one more is you find here back propagation, but still it is referred as feed-forward architecture. Why I will come to that when we are discussing the algorithm. Okay. So this, especially this architecture, is referred as feed-forward architecture. So anyway, that is something contradictory to its name. Even you will understand that later. So backpropagation network where you'll be propagating only the error. Because of that, they just consider it as only feed-forward architecture. Okay. Okay, when it comes to the architecture here, you find here different layers. Yeah, what you said is correct. It is a multi-layered architecture. But remember that is a special case of that. It's called only feed-forward architecture. Multi-layered feed-forward. So it is multi-layered. Easily you can understand that because there is an input layer here and there is an output layer here, and you find one more layer hidden inside, right? Hidden layer also. So you can find here, along with the input and output layer, one or more hidden layers in this kind of multi-layered architecture. I have shown only one hidden layer at this particular architecture diagram. In this network, you can find only one hidden layer, but you can even have more than one or more. Now let us understand what are the layers and layers details are given here. So in the input layer, if you try to see, these are the nodes which are indicated. So you can see that input layer x1 to xn. There are n number of nodes. Small n is taken there. Right there. N number of nodes. And hidden layer is indicated with Z1 to ZP. So how many number of nodes are there? P number of nodes. Even output layer, these are hidden layer nodes. Output layer, you have similarly multiple nodes, Y1 to, so M number of nodes. You can find that even each input layer nodes are connected to hidden layer nodes. If you see x1 is connected to Z1. X1 is connected to Z2, so on. But we have not written all the nodes to make the diagram simple. In the input layer, I wrote starting one, X1. X2 is not shown here. It's understood that it is there since I have put 3 dots. And one of the among the input node, it is highlighted here. It is Xi. So on, Xn. Okay. These are the input nodes. When you consider these input nodes are connected to hidden nodes, for respectively, maybe they are called as Z1. Maybe there is a Z2 also. We have not shown here. So on. One of the nodes in the hidden may be called as ZJ. Among the P nodes, one of them you can recognize it as Jth node. You can find that each node is connected with all the input node, right? Just to make very simple, I'm just removing it. Too many over. And even if you observe here, there should be a weight between node, you know, right? Now these weights are labeled between the input and hidden with certain variable, which is V. Taken as V11. That suffix 11 indicates that you are connecting X1 and Z1. The line connecting X1 to Z1 will have weight as V11. Okay. This variable you can even change it. It is just a weight we are representing with certain variable V, so that we can differentiate this from this, the other set of weights. Between hidden and output. To differentiate that, it is taken as V, this is taken as W. Okay. V11 is the weight between X1 and Z1. Similarly, V12 is the weight between X1 and Z2. So weight between Xi and Zj would be Vij. Vij between this, right? So on. That is between the input and hidden. Now, if you come to the other portion, hidden and output layer, this is hidden, this is output. This is hidden and this is the output. There also you find multiple connection. Each hidden node is connected to output layer. And you find that they are weighted with certain weight. Weight variables are represented with W. Once again, it is denoted as W11. A W11 is a weight between Z1 and Y1. W12 is between Z1 and Y2, so on. Any clarification how the labeling is done here with the architecture? Different authors may follow different alphabet. Don't worry about that, because this try to help you to write the next equations and related how you update weight using certain training algorithm. During that time it may be required. That is why how you wrote, is it very clear here? How we wrote here these variables. Anyway, this is part of input, hidden, as well as output unit. But if you see here, few more nodes are there. There's a bias input. Along with the input node, input layer bias node is this. That is also connected to all hidden nodes. Similarly, along with the hidden unit also there is one bias, that is this. Bit shifted while writing, okay. It should be attached to this. So hidden layer will have input layer will have nodes including this. Hidden layer will have node including bias, means like this you have to consider. Okay. Bias will have unit input, and each unit input will be connected to all the hidden nodes here, or it is connected to the output nodes. Generally, this is considered that as the x0 sometime. They consider as x0 is equal to 1. A corresponding weight you can write, since it is x taken as the x0, not V01. Say like this we can denote x0 to Z1. The weight can be V01. Is V01, V0J, V0 P. Okay, so on. Similarly here, between hidden to output, the hidden node, I said this is along with the hidden. So it is W0K. Sorry, W0 input. So it's, when you consider that along with the Y, Y1, Y2, so on, what is the weight you consider? W0 along with the Y1, maybe W01. Say W0 input set to 1, bias input here at a hidden with the output node. will have W naught 1, W naught K. It is connected to kth node. This is the kth node. One among the output node is considered as K. Okay, it is like variable n you are talking sometime, right? Here there are many variables. That is why we take n for only one case, xn. Input variables we took already totally n. That itself is n. That's all. Then we need one more variable here. So that's why different variables are taken. N, P, M, I, J, K, I, J, K. 6 variables are taken here. Is it clear? That is at architecture level of this particular neural network. Anyway, this is feed forward architecture where you'll be feeding some input here and it will be going to have activation function as linear at the input unit. Here is the input unit. And from the input unit, the data received will be once again passed, will have weights to the hidden. From the hidden nodes, it will be passed to the output nodes. So it is a feed forward architecture. And at the output node, you will be finding some response. This response will be compared or it will be checked with T1, T2 target. So it is a supervised architecture. There will be target. And you may be going to estimate some error. And a suitable algorithm is used for updating the weight. Okay. So it is a general architecture of a multi-layered perceptron, or in a special case where vector propagation also, the architecture is same as. Any question at this point of time? Hello.
No, sir, no question.
So I have set assignment after a few seconds. Okay, there's a time. So here in this algorithm also, there are important two processes. What you need to understand is there will be training process as well as there will be testing process, right? Any model you'll be initially going with training. And the next step is for testing. So in the last example, I didn't tested it. I just trained and stopped. Here in this example, I have just trained and stopped. After training, you would have seen here. The weight is 1, 1 and the bias input is -1. I stopped with this. Right? I just trained and stopped. But if you want to test, you take any of the input here and apply and check what is the response. If that response and the desired response, if it is same, your test result is correct. Okay, that is how you test it. I have not explained testing, I just explained training. But if you want to do testing, take any testing input, any one of them. You take it, apply it here. The weights are this. Find the response. When you find response, if it is matching with the desired one, for this input you are expected to get desired output is -1, right? If you get that, it is fine. Otherwise, it is a case of error. So testing, can you do it? It will be a task for you. Okay, in this example, test all the inputs and check are you getting a satisfactory testing result. All these four combination of input you apply here and check what is the Y you are getting. Are you getting this desired output or not? Is the network or neuron designed in the last problem is able to recall or not? Okay. This can be done by you later. Okay, just try. And if you are unable to do it, then you can ask. Or now itself, if anyone has any question, you can ask. How to do this? Any problems? You have to do first, find net input, then find response Y. This is the thing you have to do it here. Now the weights are 1, 1, -1 already set. For the given input, say first set 1, 1, 1. What is net input? What is Y? You have to find out that. If you get Y is equal to 1 here for the first input, then it is validated. It is correct. Testing, you have to do it here. Okay, that I have not done. Anyone has any doubt there? How to test in the last problem? No doubt. Or
No
not
doubt, sir.
Understood, no? How to test?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, next, yeah, we will be going to talk about here the training algorithm first. Then testing procedure. This will be need to be understood in every model, right? Especially in this case, the training algorithm will be divided into 4 steps. I'll just give you the overall view today, that's all. There are 4 steps. Say first step maybe you call initialization. Next you'll be doing feed forward stage. And finding response. And updation of the weight. The whole process, since it is too long, we have divided into 4 important stages. Initialization stage, feed forward stage, and finding the response and updating the weight. So that we will take up in the next class. There is a test I have posted. I think 1 or 2 minutes is there. You can refresh or anything and wait for that. Or if anyone has question, you can ask some question.
Sir?
Yeah.
In the Hebbian algorithm, we fed the network, like we were only allowed to feed it bipolar inputs, right? Whereas in the perceptron, we can give it binary or bipolar. It doesn't matter.
Correct.
So
Both are
why is it like that?
Yeah, both are possible here.
So why is Hebbian limited only to bipolar input?
If you will understand that it is not possible to train in some cases. The training will not be possible. You can try that with the binary also. Training will not happen. I mean, the network is not able to store the patterns properly. You can try that and check once, test it. You will find that it will retrieve or recall some error patterns. Response will be wrong for that. Expected desired output you may not able to retrieve from the network. The learning is not happening properly.
Okay, sir.
You can just do that and check. It may not happen in all network, but some network. That's why it is preferred to have that. He has suggested to do with a bipolar. There is a team what they have designed. No? They have recommended for. I think now there is a test posted at any time. It may be coming now. Okay, you can wait for that. I think it is posted, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead with that. Yeah.